And because I know that if I hit round 2, it's going to re-roll everyone's. We're going to skip the fancy little re-roll of initiative and say it's your turn again, Zara.
Alright. I'm gonna hack away. That's a 22.
That is definitely a hit.
Bam, bam, Shazam.
There you go.
You just watch as your halberd stabs straight through the creature's brain and is now floating dead in the water, a red mass. And as that happens, Zara, you look out in the distance. Just past Byron, you can see the water is disturbed. A large splash. As if something bigger is coming towards you all.
Megalodons.
Is that all you're going to do in your turn, Zara?
That's it. I'm gonna back up a little bit.
Okay.
And that's the end of my turn.
Okay. On Hunter Shark 2's turn, he's going to submerge fully under the boat, and it begins swimming towards the mass of red which is in the water, and you just watch Byron and Zara. You see a froth of bubbles as it begins to devour the corpse of the other shark. And Nicholas, it is your turn.
Row.
Yeah, I'm gonna dedicate my turn to Rowan. I use my action and my bonus action to dash. And my movement.
Okay. The rowboat, on its turn, or should I say on your turn, you can row it about 40 feet. So if you're dashing, you can row about 80 feet. You begin arcing away from the bloody mass of churning and bubbling in the water. And as you do so, you see another shark, 3 times as big as the other one, leap up out of the water with that shark in its jaws and then sploosh into the water. And Siegfried, it's your turn.
I am also going to help Nicholas row.
Well, there's only one set of oars.
I am going to sit behind him and go, Mr. Nicholas, faster, Nicholas, faster, 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 and hold my action.
That's called giving him inspiration.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a bard. I've yet to see you give someone inspiration.
Because I have done it multiple times, but every time I do, everything is dead by the time it's their next turn.
Why don't you give it a try, man?
Fine, I sing him this you have to go faster, otherwise we'll be slipping in the guts of sharks tonight, and give him inspiration.
Okay, and how's that work?
On saving throws or attack throws, I believe, until his next turn. Let me double check this. He gets a 1d6 addition.
Nice. On Obliteros's turn, it's going to dash, or I shouldn't say dash. It's going to come after you. It is now 30 feet away from your boat. You just watch as it just goes whoosh through the river water. The wake of the creature is enormous as it is coming towards your rowboat. And Byron,
Okay, it's one.
it is your turn.
He can use it once within the next hit.
By the way, you are targeting yourself, Byron.
Byron follows the hands to myself rule.
As a bonus action, I'll cast Hunter's Mark.
Okay. And that is a hit. You pull back on your knocked arrow and zips through the air and plugs the creature in the side of the top near its dorsal fin.
And I'm done.
Okay, Zito's not here, so it is Zara's turn. Zara, you see the massive head of a shark, bigger than you've ever seen before, and gore is dripping off of its chops as the water around it's frothing and is furiously swimming towards your rowboat.
Oh boy. How far away does it?
It is currently 30 feet away from the rowboat.
Okay. Alright, I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna hold my action again.
Okay, you're not going to attack it?
Yeah, I'm gonna hold my action.
Okay, and Nicholas, it is your turn. What would you like to do?
Row, row, row your boat.
Okay.
Dashing
Dashing?
into action. Yeah.
Okay.
Can I use my movement too?
No. You essentially, it's the movement of the rowboat, which the rowboat normally goes 40, so you can go up to 80 feet.
Okay.
So that will put you guys 110 feet away from the shark.
Hey, good.
And is that all you're going to do on your turn?
Yeah.
Siegfried, it's your turn.
Gonna hold my action.
Okay. On Obliteros's turn, it is going to speed through the water, and it is going to, you just, at an incredible rate of speed, it just zooms towards the rowboat to about 10 feet away.
100-foot loop.
Yes, it has 100 feet on a dash. It's a bigger shark. It can go faster. And Byron, it's your turn.
Alright, shall fire at it again.
That is a hit.
And the Hunter's Mark is still. As a bonus action, I'll fire again.
That is also a hit.
And I'm done.
And as soon as he's done shooting the shark, Zara's gonna come down and strike it again. Well,
Okay. It is within 10 feet of the boat. You can reach. And that is a hit. Hacking away into the... You get a glancing blow, a bit of gore, as the edge of your blade sort of scratches and skates across the surface of the rubbery skin of the shark.
and I'm going to attack one more time.
And that is also a hit.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Make sure you're keeping track of those. You can only do that, I think, 3 or 4 times a day.
Yep, I'm keeping track.
Okay. You take another hefty chunk out of the side of the creature's head, near the top of its head. And Siegfried, did you want to do something now with your held action, or you're going to move on and lose it this round?
All the action I can move, right?
Well, you can still take an action on... You can do movement even if you don't do your held action. So,
Yeah, I want to move up, kind of over by the, and that puts me within 10 feet of the shark, right?
well, I don't know, does it? You've got two friends in your way.
There's no space between them.
No, they're kind of in your way at the moment, so it would give them, essentially it would give the creature 3/4 cover.
Then I'd move there and just my action's gonna hold until I can get at least 10 feet of view onto it.
We got to get you some ranged weapons, sir.
I have one, nothing that's gonna do any damage to it.
Okay, Zara, it is your turn again. We're on the new round.
Alright. Going to hack away.
That
Oh.
unfortunately is a miss.
Yeah. Zara's just gonna look really sad. That's it.
Okay, Nicholas, what would you like to do in your turn?
I guess row your boat. I'm gonna dash and use my action. I'll end my turn 80 feet away.
Okay.
Hopefully that it gets, tired of us.
Siegfried, it's your turn.
I'm gonna hold my action since we're now another 80 feet away.
Okay. You're 80 feet away from the creature, was actually 90 feet away. Obliteros is going to use its full 100 feet movement to get right up on the edge of your ship now. The gross breath from the briny breath from the creature. And Byron, it is your turn.
Do I need to move back in order to get a disadvantage attack on it, or?
If you're trying to do a ranged attack with your bow, yes.
I'll
So
take a
you
step
you
back.
risk taking. Are you going to take a step away from it, not as an action disengage?
Wait a sec. It's in the water below us, right?
Right now, its head is right up out of the water. It's Zara could reach out and kiss it on the tip of its nose if she wanted to right now.
Good.
All right, I'll fire at it.
Okay. That unfortunately is a miss.
I can
Bonus
take my
action.
held action.
That is a hit. Your first arrow bounced off of its rubbery, disgusting skin. Your second one arcs down into the creature's head and is sticking up like a flag.
All right, and I'm done.
And Zara, it's your turn.
Chop, chop, chop.
That's exactly what it wants to do.
Oh, chop, chop, chop back. Alright, I'm gonna chop it with my halberd of Dillahar.
That is a miss.
And she's gonna cry. Alright.
Nicholas, it's your turn. What would you like to do? I should mention, if you attempt to row the rowboat away, it will make a reaction attack against the rowboat.
I was just thinking that in my head. I was like, should I disengage, or then it's going to catch us even worse? Do you think it's just the chance of it giving one attack versus multiple?
It's up to you. This is
I know.
your decision. You are rowing the boat.
And you can hold your action.
I'm going to row your boat, dash and bonus action.
Okay, well in that case, Obliteros is going to take an opportunity attack against the boat as it begins to dash away from it. This is going to be funny. What? Did I say that out loud?
Yeah.
Roll high. Come on. Oh, it hit. And you watch as the boat begins to inch away from the furious rowing from Nicholas. The massive shark's mouth opens up wide, impossibly wide. And Zara and Byron and Siegfried staring down into its gullet, you can see chunks of whatever it ate. And its massive jaws clamp down, crushing the side of the boat. And and it is currently wrenching off a huge chunk of the boat. The boat is starting to take in a little bit of water. And Siegfried, it's your turn. As Nicholas begins rowing furiously away now, the boat is starting to take in some water as you're rowing just a little bit though. Not enough to like where it feels like the boat's gonna sink, but it's starting to fill up from the tooth marks in the bottom. So Zara and Byron, your feet are getting cold from the river water gushing in from the holes where the teeth hit the side of the hull of the rowboat. And you get away 80 feet away from the creature. And Siegfried, it's your turn.
Again, I have to hold my action.
Okay, on Obliteros' turn, he is going to charge at the boat once again, coming right up next to the boat. And Byron, it's your turn.
With him right there, can I use my held action now?
Go right ahead.
So with Blade Flourish, all it says is if I make an attack, I can do it on top of that. So I'm going to attack with my tentacle whip.
Oh.
Go for it. Unfortunately, that is a miss. Siegfried, with a flourish, you hold your arm out, and the tentacle unfurls from your forearm and arcs out at the creature, but just misses it.
I was going to use a hero point, but never mind it. Alright.
Would you like to use a hero point to see if you hit?
Do it.
Okay, there we go.
Unfortunately, that is not enough.
Siegfried jumps out of the... No, I'm kidding.
Byron,
Hey, we left a.
Byron, it's your turn.
Alright, I shall attack the Sharky.
Unfortunately, your first attack misses as the arrow goes shoop into the river water and disappears.
I'll use a hero point now, too.
Go right ahead. That hits. The arrow, instead of zooping, almost as if rewinding time, hits the creature's center mass in the middle of its head.
As bonus action, I'll strike again.
Okay. That is a hit. Again, your arrow chunks into the water, hitting into the side of the creature. Gore is just frothing, bubbling, and spilling out into the water as it is waving its tail in the water wildly, its mouth opening and closing, gnashing its teeth at you all. And Zara, it is your turn again.
I'm making sushi tonight. I'm gonna head up to the house. Bam!
That is a hit.
Roll high, roll high. Eh.
Hack into the side of the creature, more chunks flying off. At this point, this thing looks wrecked. It is absolutely disgusting. Its blubbery mass of a head is just doesn't even resemble a shark's head anymore, but it's still trying to bite at all of you and the ship.
Can I use my bonus action to get something out of my bag?
Bonus action, unfortunately, will not do it.
Alright.
What were you trying to pull out of your bag?
I was gonna pull out my bedroll and see if I could kind of stuff it in the little, or the big hole.
Yeah, that's more of an action, unfortunately.
Okay. Alright, that's the end of my turn.
Nicholas, it's your turn. What would you like to do? Would you like to row away from it?
Hold your action.
I feel like we're gonna be swimming.
No, maybe you should stop it up.
Can I see it? Get a good clean shot at it?
Unfortunately, you have 3 friends blocking your view, so it would get 3/4 cover, so it'd be a +5 to its AC if you tried to attack it.
Yeah, I'm better off disengaging. I'm gonna actually disengage and then row 40 feet.
Does not work for rowing the rowboat, unfortunately. It will still get a reaction attack.
You can't disengage the rowboat?
No, because it's not a rogue, you are.
Oh, okay. Alright,
What about the boat? Did you fill the hole?
You know, I'm gonna take a shot at it. I'm gonna drop the rows, pull out my double crossbow, and take it with a 3/4 cover.
Don't shoot me!
Use
If
that
you-
-5
If
button
you
on your
if you roll a natural
Yeah.
1, I'm gonna say you hit one of your friends.
Ah!
Please roll a 1.
Oh, so close.
Okay, that's the end of your turn. Siegfried, it's your turn.
Well, Siegfried now, with just complete hatred inside of him, he's going to try to cast Dissonant Whispers.
Well,
And it saves against your Dissonant Whispers.
Oh wow, that's a really fucking smart shark.
Right? Well, actually, no. It rolled a 19, almost a natural 20. It's a flat 0 on its wisdom modifier.
Siegfried attempts to jump out of the boat, but stops himself.
Okay, is that the end of your turn? On Obliteros's turn, it's going to open its mouth wide, and once again, it's going to clamp down onto the rowboat. And critically hit the rowboat. And the rowboat explodes, and all 4 of you go flying off a few feet before sinking into the cold river water.
Oh, there's about to be more than just flying up.
Byron, it is your turn. You get a mouthful of river water, briny, brackish river water in your mouth. And you just see this large creature thrashing.
I'm gonna draw my short sword and try to stab it.
Okay, are you
Only thing
dropping your bow in the water? I mean, it is made of wood, so it'll float.
Can I just hold it in one hand and draw the weapon or not?
I would say that you can let it go in your hand, or maybe just kind of loop it over your arm if you want. Like it's hanging off of your elbow. But your attack would be a disadvantage unless you let it go fully. Plus, you're going to be attacking a Actually, you'd be attacking a disadvantage anyway because you're underwater.
Okay. Can I fire the bow underwater?
I would say no.
Okay. Gotta give it a shot.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. I shall attempt to strike it with the short sword.
Go for it. Hey, that's still a hit.
Like the natural 20 better.
Right? Almost a crit.
Hey, can you remove the effect on it?
Does it have an effect? I don't see an effect on it.
I thought it had the hunter's mark effect.
Nope.
Oh, wait a second.
Nope. As far as I could
does
see,
it-
Hunter's Mark is not on you.
Does it last until I stop? Lasts up to an hour. Oh, it works with melee too. Never mind.
I'm just thinking in my head, like, there you go. Nice. Nice hit. You stab the creature in the side, popping one of its eyeballs. And Zara, it is your turn.
Alright.
Just imagine later you guys trying to tell this story to the survivors of the dinner party. Man, we killed a giant shark, guys. Yeah, right. And we saw a dragon.
Alright. I'm going to take a really deep breath and try to cut this sushi to pieces.
Now remember, you are attacking with disadvantage.
Yep. Please, Todahara, please help me. Oh, you know,
Don't forget, you have hero points.
yes. Alright.
That unfortunately
And-
is a miss.
And before you say that, I'm going to use Channel Divinity and gain +10 to the attack.
Okay. So using your bonus action before your hit, you want to do that and get a mulligan on that, or are you using your war priest ability?
War Priest ability.
Okay.
I can add +10 looking
Alright.
at the roll, but before the DM says miss or hit.
Okay.
So. Yay.
So that would have been a hit then. It would have been a 16.
Yes.
If I hadn't heard the
Ah!
word,
No!
Is that the end of your turn, Zara? Would you like to swim away?
Can I?
You can. I will mention though that you are within biting range. And
I'm going
and
to,
it will take a reaction against you if you try to go away. Hint, hint.
I'm going to pray, and that's the end of my turn.
Okay.
try to kiss him. Seduce the shark.
Nicholas, it's your turn.
Can I get a clear shot at the shark in the water?
What are you trying to shoot it with?
Double crossbow.
It won't work.
It won't work,
Maybe.
even though it's like on a lever instead of a bow where you have to pull it back. You know.
You know what? I'll tell you what. I'll allow it since it is a different type of firing device. I will allow it. But you're
No, I mean,
you're
I was just
still firing at
curious.
disadvantage.
Okay, yeah, that works. I was just curious because you know the difference of that you don't pull it back with your arm.
Yeah,
You can
rather
actually
than
make
pulling
it-
out the rule book and trying to figure out how ranged attacks work underwater, I'm using
Yeah.
fantasy common
Okay.
sense.
Okay. All right.
So go ahead and make your attack. Come on. That is a miss. Would
Oh
you
my
like
goodness.
to spend Would you like to spend a point?
Yeah, let's do it. 11.
11. That's unfortunately a miss.
Oh! Alright, I'm gonna end my turn right there.
Siegfried, it's your turn.
I'm gonna try to use Dissonant Whispers on him again.
Go for it. And it saved again.
Ah!
I forgot to do damage last time. It at least takes half damage.
Okay, you can roll the damage twice. And yeah, I would say even at half damage, you killed it. It was the exact amount to kill it, actually.
Oh.
So you all watch as the shark just sort of makes a art motion with its mouth, and then its head explodes, filling the briny water with just red mass, just a mist, and your vision is cloudy in red mist. And we are now going to transition back to the eye catcher.
Man, Siegfried, remind me never to let me tell you, well, let you tell me a secret. Oof.
Everyone, grab a rope. We're gonna drag the body with us.
All right. Back aboard the eye catcher within the cozy captain's cabin. The delicious food spread which is before you. Your cups have been refilled several times now, and you just feel content. Your belly's full from the food. So, my friend Samael, you were telling me about this order of yours, the Silver Flame?
Ah, yes. What would you like to know about them?
Well, what do you do for them?
Well, honestly, I'm considered a paladin, but I'm more of an executioner.
An executioner, you say?
Yes. I discovered my way into the Silver Flame directly after the morning. And the order I am known as Samael the Reaper.
The Reaper?
Yes, that is correct.
It's very curious. It's a strange moniker to have. Very macabre.
Exactly. Most of the paladins in the order, especially in the early days, they didn't like me very much. They called me Paladin, Samael the Reaper, and they meant it as an insult at first, but I took it as a badge of pride. I mean, it is what I went by. And they used to call me Paladin of the First Stage, making fun of me, but I took that with a bit of pride as well, and eventually they learned to respect me for it.
Oh. So, how did you come across this invitation again? I only ask again because I only send these out. They're distributed to members of the noble families, the 60. And I can't seem to recall sending them to upper level members of the Silver Flame.
I didn't think you intended to, but I wasn't planning on coming to your event, honestly, when I saw it. It seemed like I wouldn't really be welcome here. But after receiving the invitation, I thought that maybe I should come and have a talk with you about how we got these invitations, because it did seem a bit odd. Apparently, there is someone of high to-do in the Inquisitors who is giving these invitations out. And somehow or another it ended up, and I believe maybe by accident, I'm not sure exactly the details of it, but the Inquisitors somehow managed to get several invitations over to us. If I were you, friend, I would start looking at them crossways. I really do believe they're up to no good.
Make a persuasion check.
Samael actually believes everything he just said.
Oh, I know, but I'm going to roll it anyway.
Okay.
Let's see.
It's persuasion, not deception.
I know it's not deception.
No, I was letting Kevin know.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It is persuasion.
He rolled a 19. No, 19. Samael.
Boom! I got charisma, baby, all day.
Well, that is very
Just to let.
unusual. You say the head of the Citadel.
Well, that's the way I'm believing it. One of our members, one of my friends, actually, he seems to have been tampered with magically in some shape or form. I'm not exactly sure. He said it came from the High Inquisitor. As far as I know, it could have come from a bum on a back alley. But it's your invitation. I figured you'd like to know that somebody's passing these things out, and they're coming from in a manner that you did not intend. I wanted to let you know about that first and foremost. And plus, I mean, I've heard you're kind of an important person to know. I figured, one good turn deserves another. I'd let you know, and maybe we could be potentially friends in the future.
So you took one of our invitations, and under the guise of, or I should say, not under the guise, but under the intention of coming aboard, and rather than coming to one of our other ships that are docked in the ward and bring it to my captain's attention, you decided to come to the ship and attend dinner and tell me this personally.
That is correct. Yes, sir. Plus, I did receive the invitation. It would be impolite to refuse.
Although I admire your boldness, I'm sure a paper bird message would have sufficed.
Would you have believed a paper bird message? It does seem kind of obscure to come from somebody random like that. I find that in my line of work, it's always better to deliver messages in person, personally.
Well, indeed. And what about your friends? What are their reasons for being here? Young lady, young miss, and he looks towards Linda, who is currently dabbing her mouth with a doily napkin, like a lacy-edged napkin. And she says, "Yes? You said your name is Rosemary Growlhund. I am familiar with this name. How are you related to the Growlhunds?" And Linda's eyes sort of go wide for a moment. She says, I'm a bit estranged from my family. I've spent some time away in Sarlona. Sarlona? Oh, interesting. And what were you doing in Sarlona? I was studying magics. Magic? Interesting. So you're a student of the arts? Yes, I am. And he just kind of looks at her. One eyebrow arched with a smile, a sly smile creeping on his face. And he says, he snaps his fingers and holds out his empty wine glass as the Nimblewright walks up towards him and very carefully and deftly pours him a flagon, or I should say another glass of wine. He turns around with a flourish and he says, "And you, my short friend, what did you say your name was again?"
My name is Brunhild.
And he was gesturing towards Zito, but he turns and looks as Brunhild, you, from the opposite end of the head of the table. You speak to him. He says, "Oh, I apologize. I was speaking to your scaled friend there."
Oh, my bad. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself then?
Yes, my name is Z. I've come with my friend here, Samael. But
Oh, are you a member of the Silver Flame as well?
no, I am not a member of the Silver Flame. I am actually an apprentice at the Mithril Towers.
Really?
Yes, I noticed that you were talking about magic earlier. That is a area that I am considering myself an expert in.
Well, I dabble. What of it? You came all this way here with your friend Samael. Am I to understand that you also came upon through one of our unorthodox means one of our invitations to the dinner party tonight.
I mean, I received my invitation from Samael, and I didn't see a name on the invitation, so I assumed it was an open invitation.
Open to a point. The invitations are distributed to members of the 60 families and a few select individuals, members of the high courts, if you will, that my benefactor never caught chooses at random. Of course, I am curious, but I'll save my curiosity until I speak to the young lady. And he turns his attention to Brunhild. It's been some time since I've laid eyes on a dwarven lass such as yourself. What is your connection to these individuals before you, if you have one?
Well, I've been in here in Sharn for a little while now. I'm a noble, I'm a noble Droranoth. I'm helping, make mercenary contracts for fellow noblemen for protection with all the crazy attacks and stuff going on recently. And I happened upon these two for a while, and, you know, one thing led to another.
Make a deception check.
You'll have to make that for her.
Yeah, I know. I just wanted to make that little... Let's see. Brunhild. Deception. Oh. Interesting. That is not a natural one, but a 1 on your deception roll, Brunhild. And the music, which has been playing so lovely and light in the background, abruptly stops.
You know, listening to it that way, it does sound a little bit silly now that she says it for the second time.
And he says, Droranoth. Huh. Droranoth, to my knowledge, aren't nobles, they're meatheads. And they spawn only adventurers and mercenaries. And he turns and he looks at the lady that is sitting next to Zito, and he says, My lady, the hour does grow late, and I must apologize. My men will take you back to shore. And the door behind you opens up, and a bit of a cool breeze blows in. And one of the very attractive crew members is now standing with the door open, gesturing with his hand. And the lady, Celeria, looks and says, Oh, well, my word. Well, my invitation does still stand, Master Zord. The gala, which is happening tomorrow at our estate, if you wish to attend. Oh, but of course, lady. I would never dream of standing you up. Yalister, it's good to see you again. Likewise, the other man says as he stands next to Celeria. He begins following after the man and then catches a glance back to the four of you as you're seated at the table. And the crew member closes the door with a soft click behind him. Zardos is now standing at the head of the table now, has pushed the chair aside with one of his feet, and has his hands now, one hand with the glass in his hand, and the other hand he's sort of playing with the food and the plate in front of him.
I would like to note that as she was leaving, I stood up and bowed as she was leaving.
And she gave you a curt nod as you did so. And the man, as you are all now alone in the silence, the Nimblewright is standing at attention with the pitcher still in his hand, silently standing. And Zardoz looks at the four of you, staring intently at you, Brunhild, and says, I have to say, your ruse was quite humorous. And I played along for as well as I could stomach it. but I detest liars. I detest subterfuge. You, my young lady, I can only assume the rest of you altogether, as you say, Samael, as you say, Zito. The Lady Growlhund, as you said, I doubt you've ever stepped foot in Sarlona. So why don't we cut the chatter and the niceties, and we get down to what you're doing on my vessel, why you're here, and tell me right now why I shouldn't have you thrown off of the ship to swim back to the shore a mile away from here. And he's staring at you, Brunhild.
Look, I'm gonna be frank with you here. It doesn't really matter where any of us come from. What it matters is where we're going. And right now, we have invitations that are legit if you want to look at them. But the point that I'm making is that we need to talk to you about something important.
Let's see these invitations. And as he says that, the door behind you opens up yet again, and a crewman walks in, and with a flourish, he hands the invitations to Zardos, who takes them in his hands. He looks at them, and he turns them over, and he says, it's interesting. I say this is interesting because one of my crew failed to report back yesterday. And this has his handwriting on it. Do you mind explaining that?
Well, that goes back to what we said about the Inquisitors. We were told that there was something to do with a sailor that had attacked somebody, and they had killed the sailor that was attempting to murder one of the Inquisitor initiates. But they didn't say that the invitations were related to him. They just told us that they had murdered they had executed a murderous sailor, and they had also mentioned that they had the invitations for us to come here as well. I'm assuming they stole them from your man.
We'll make another persuasion check on that.
Okay.
So I want you to finish your statement, but let's go ahead and roll one. Let's see. That's an 11.
While you're rolling that, I would like to add to it as well that it's unfortunate, but I really do feel like yourself and us are being somehow victimized by the Inquisitors, but for what reason, I know not why.
Well, I'll get to the bottom of it. No worry there. Trust me.
Very well.
But it's still, I'm confused. Why are you on my ship? You've said so that you're here to warn me about one of my crew being waylaid and murdered. That is, of course, unfortunate, and I will investigate this. But why are you here? Why are all of you here, and why have you sought to use subterfuge? Why didn't you just approach us?
As for myself, and I can speak only for myself in this regard, I told you before, my name is Samael the Reaper. If I find out that your crewman was waylaid and murdered for no reason whatsoever other than the ill-gotten gains of someone seeking more power, I will drag them into the street and crucify them in front of everyone. But I need to know that what I'm doing is honorable first before I do so.
You're quite bloodthirsty, my friend. I like it. But we can
I like your outfit.
We can handle ourselves. Well,
as for the other matter, they had mentioned something about this to me, but I don't quite understand it. You would be better pressed to ask them for more details about the other matter they mentioned.
And what matter is that?
I'm gonna just hold my hands out and motion towards them.
Sorry, Mark. I just realized you messaged me about that. I apologize. I did not read that. I will say that if she did attempt to stand up and walk away from the table, he would have gestured for her to sit back down. Which she would have obliged, following the lead of the rest of the group. Well, my slippery friends, we've come to an odd impasse in our relationship here. So why don't you tell me who you really are? And he looks towards Linda. And Linda says, I am Linda Wrighton. I'm a student. That much is true. From Mulgrave University. And I do study the arcane arts. I've studied the school of evocation. And I apologize for my friends. We had no intention of lying to you or using subterfuge. We're just trying to help one of our friends. Help a friend, you say? And Linda sort of darts her eyes looking back and forth between you, Samael, Zito, and Brunhild before she says another word. And this friend of yours is in trouble?
Yes, her life may be at stake if we haven't come here tonight.
How so?
Zito will take out the note that was addressed to Nicholas and explaining that the
You mean the note? You mean the note that Nicholas has in his bag, which is in the river right now?
Did Nicholas have it? I didn't know he had.
Yeah, it was in Nicholas's bag.
I thought it was just a note. Me. Okay, I didn't
So
know
you
he had that.
you came to our ship seeking help for your friend. How? And why? What could I possibly have that could help your friend? I'm no healer. Is your friend sick?
No, but you do have an item that can take off a band of loyalty, can you not?
And the moment that you say that, Zito, he stiffens and straightens himself. And the foppish and loose demeanor sort of evaporates. And he says, what do you know about that?
Says all that we know that the band on our friend's finger might kill her if we don't get it off of her finger tonight.
And how did your friend happen upon one of these bands of loyalty, you say?
I don't know. So it's after that sailor attacked her, she found out that she was wearing it all of a sudden.
Not to interject, but didn't she say the High Inquisitor put that on her?
Did the High Inquisitor put it on her?
I don't remember 100%, but I seem to remember something about that.
And Zarda is now drinking the rest of his wine. He lays the goblet onto the table and he says, well, it appears that I need to have a conversation with your friend. Please, feel free to fill yourselves food and drink, but don't even think about leaving this chamber. I'll be back. And you watch as he begins walking towards the door, leaving behind the Nimblewright. And he turns back and he looks and he says, if what you say is true, at least about my crew member, I may be able to help your friend. But I'll have to perform some inquiries myself, you must understand. And the door opens before him and he begins striding out of the room. And the door closes behind him with a click. And the Nimblewright is still standing at attention, holding the decanter in its hand, staring at the four of you.
Hi there.
The Nimblewright does not respond, but it nods in your direction. and it begins walking towards you with the decanter like it wants to fill your glass.
Well, it'd be rude to say no, wouldn't it?
And the bit of a swashbuckler style design of its face froze in a smile, almost like a buccaneer style face with its long wide-brimmed hat with the large white feather poking out the side. And you can hear the whir and click of its internal mechanism as it walks up towards you. And you can see that it is armed with a rapier which hangs at its side. And it finishes pouring your glass deftly and then steps back. And once again, the ghostly sound of the music begins picking up in the background again. As if the uneasy sound from before of dead silence is immediately evaporated, the sound emanating from behind the curtains. A bit lighter than before. Linda just sort of... Sorry, go ahead.
Is there anything else in this room besides the table and the banquet?
You see a series of curtains against the other half of the room. There's also a large support beam which has a carved relief which is hanging off the side of it. And of course there are the windows, which now at this time it is very dark outside. The sun has gone down, and you just have the ever bright lanterns which are warmly glowing and illuminating the room.
Am I able to see outside dark vision?
Well, that would require you to go to the window.
Yes.
The window is... I should mention the window is closed.
It's like, I can... It's made out of glass, right?
It is made out of glass.
Okay, I'll look out the window.
Looking out the window, you just see the dark, undulating river. And the way that the ship is currently arced, you don't see any lights of any sort. So with your dark vision looking out of the window, you just see just the gray mass of the undulating waves of the river. And the starlight, which emanates from above. And Linda leans over the table at Brunhild and Samael and says, "What are we going to do?"
He doesn't seem too bad of a fella. I can actually work with him.
As well. It's been a while since we're alone. Perhaps we can contact Siegfried or Nick and see what they're able to do.
You know, Siegfried seems to know a lot about this group. When our friend Zardoz gets back, we probably could let him talk with Siegfried.
And on that
I'm
note,
talking about right now.
we are going to transition back to the group.
Oh my god. That was nasty water. Alright. Who else is gonna help me carry this? I figure if we can climb up over the thing and toss this at them, maybe we can intimidate them.
Bobbing in the water, floating on the remains of what once was the rowboat. The four of you are waterlogged and soaking wet in the darkness. And off in the distance, you can see lights emanating from a massive sailing ship. And it's, from best guess, it is at least 100 yards away from where you are currently.
I'm gonna start swimming towards the ship.
Yeah, I'll swim towards the ship too.
Zara's swimming, she's like... And she's kind of occasionally taking a break to like float on her back and get some energy and keep swimming.
Siegfried uses the floating dead body of the shark as a floaty and starts kicking.
Oh, that's long gone.
No, fine, I use a part of the ship and just start kicking.
Okay.